No, it's not any of these metals that has exploded in price as of late. In fact, they all have gone in the opposite direction. But there's one exception to this that could play a crucial role in some other metals that are very close to it on the periodic table. You probably already know which metal I'm talking about, but just in case, we'll talk about it as we explore. That's right, gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. Neither of those metals have gone up in price in recent days. In fact, they've been hit pretty hard, at least as of the recording of this video, by the recent stock market crash. But 2 or 3 times, there's another metal that has outperformed and done very well. And in fact, it has exploded in price. In fact, just as of the recording of this video, it was up 7% today. And I am talking about this metal right here, rhodium. That's right, rhodium. And this is my only ounce of rhodium. And if you have not seen it, I have a playlist that really tells the story of the journey of this rhodium bar from about $700 an ounce, which is the time I bought it, all the way up to almost $30,000 an ounce. And I didn't sell it. I kept it. Yes, indeed. And maybe I'm keeping it so I can do videos about it. Nonetheless, it is marking a move positively here recently. And it is quite something to see this massive move in price for rhodium. And what's behind it? Well, and why aren't the other platinum group metals moving up in conjunction with it? Well, the fact is that rhodium is extremely rare. In fact, it is so rare that I'm kind of surprised it's being tracked in the markets. But there's just enough of a use for it in terms of its industrial catalyst properties that it is used in conjunction with platinum and palladium more than any other platinum group metal, even though metals like rhenium, ruthenium, iridium, and also osmium also have uses and are used in conjunction with platinum and palladium, but they're even more rare. Most of those metals are even more rare, so they're not tracked. But rhodium is the only metal that is tracked in the markets, and it's mostly Kitco that tracks the prices. Rhodium moves in $25 increments and trades very rarely compared to the other metals. But platinum and palladium have took a pretty big hit recently, but rhodium has moved in the exact opposite direction. And there's really not much information about what's going on with rhodium's price. I've done some research on it when it first started to go up, and have not really been able to find anything concrete. And likely, I probably won't. But understanding the market itself, unless there's a really big news that's coming out of a mine in South Africa, which is where most of the rhodium is produced, more than likely, it's going to not be in the news. Rhodium is just not one of those metals that makes headlines. It's not as sexy as the other metals out there, even platinum and palladium. But nonetheless, rhodium indeed is a very precious metal. It's very hard to come by in bullion form. This is the very first rhodium bar ever produced of its kind by Baird & Company. Since then, Pam Suisse has made one. And I wish I would have gotten one of those because I would love to be able to complete the collection of PAMPs and all the different metals. But nonetheless, rhodium is a metal that is so rare, and it's just very difficult to really track down as to what actually causes it to go up. But usually it's related to the tightness of the market in general and supply chain disruptions. The last big spike that we saw in 2022 was due to an issue of a power outage in the South African mines, which affected all of the platinum group metals. And so something is happening here with rhodium. We just have not gotten any news out of South Africa yet on what's happening there. And usually, if rhodium moves, typically platinum and palladium will move as well. But in fact, they are moving in the opposite direction and likely could continue to move that way along with gold and silver to some extent. But I think there may be some hope for platinum and palladium if rhodium continues to take off. because, well, if there's disruptions in the supply chain or issues with mining down in Africa, South Africa, that will carry over to platinum and palladium. In fact, that's one reason why I bought this. This is the 2025 Platinum Kangaroo. I still believe, to some extent, although I've been jaded in recent weeks and months, that platinum's price has not really been able to keep and stay above $1,000 per ounce. It's kind of just been stagnant. And usually when it's stagnant, that means that people are not really loving the metal a whole lot. But I just like the metal, and so I wanted to get this new Platinum Kangaroo here. And I still may buy some more platinum because I still think there is some potential there. Now I'm a little bit more excited about it now that rhodium has gone up in price. You know, rhodium acts as a catalyst, much like the other noble metals, such as platinum and palladium. Both of these metals, or all three of these metals, kind of serve the same purpose. Rhodium is also used in jewelry to coat jewelry and to prevent it from oxidizing. And it is a noble metal, so it does have that property. But admittedly, it is not the most beautiful metal. Yea, though this particular bar does have sort of a matte finish to it, so it's really tough to really garner the actual beauty of a rhodium piece like this, given the look of this bar. Whereas platinum can be pretty shiny, but it is a little bit duller in terms of its reflectivity than silver, for instance. As you can see, the difference between silver and platinum are quite profound. There's no mistaking these metals by any stretch of any imagination, in my view. Gold is in a world of its own. Gold's price has really dominated the markets. There's no question about it. And so the platinum group metals have kind of fallen by the wayside. And nobody's talking about rhodium. Now, rhodium is very hard to come by in physical form like this. I can only think of 3 companies that carry it, and that one of them is Kitco. Kitco actually sells precious metals, believe it or not, and they have actually been the only and first to produce an actual coin, a rhodium coin. I think it's called the Sea Dragon or Snow Dragon or something like that. And one of the members of this community, who I've not seen in quite a while, actually bought several of them during rhodium's recent price ascendancy. The last one back in, I guess, 2021 or what have you. But nonetheless, I got very fortunate to be able to buy this bar for about $1,100 an ounce with a spot price of $700 an ounce. But the spread is so crazy between the bid and ask price, it's very difficult to know what you would really get back for it, because when I checked several times about selling, most of the dealers, the very few of the ones, would buy it back of bid price. In other words, several $100s to maybe even $1,000 below bid price. The bid price for rhodium right now is at $5,800. The ask price for rhodium is $6,400 an ounce. It wasn't long ago when it was trading for about $4,500 an ounce to $5,000 an ounce. Rhodium is one of those metals that is so very difficult to liquidate, and it has such a tight market that it is it's almost in a sense a chore just to keep this. Nobody really wants it, you know. I mean, probably most of you don't have much interest in rhodium or platinum or palladium, but they are metals that should be, I think, in a sense, paid attention to, because they could help impact other metals, including gold and silver to some extent, although not directly. But it is interesting, and so we have a situation on our hand where, you know, rhodium's movement in price to the upside now is something to pay attention to, especially with regards to what could be coming in the economy. Why is it going up with fears of a recession happening right now? Why is it bucking the trend? Is it just because of the tight supply in the market? Are there other things going on behind the scenes that no one is talking about yet, that most analysts don't even know? Well, so far, there's not been any data or any news stories, and I've looked, that have been able to give us any clue as to what's happening here. But a 7% increase in one day, and very near that the previous day, is a sign that there's something happening in rhodium. and people are, and well, at least some of us are paying attention. So it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out from here. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I'm also going to keep this bar, even if it goes back up to $30,000 an ounce again, unless I absolutely need to sell it. But it's just kind of neat to have all four precious metals that are traded and over on Kitco. And Kitco is the only place that I know of that tracks the rhodium price. And just nice to have a 1 ounce example of each one of those. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. What are your feelings on the rhodium market? Do you even care about rhodium? Well, I think it's something to pay attention to because of its effect on other metals and the industry in general. But let me know what your thoughts are. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.